Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham. Yeah, it's a bad week. Power out to whatever, 6 out of 7 days or 7 out of 8 days, whatever it was. Not good. But you always have to, lots of trees down, none of them fell on the house, so I guess that's good. But, lots of snow and crap. Yuck. Anyway, um, housekeeping stuff. um, yeah, Old Fan has been working on getting antinatalism to be an official word in the dictionary, kind of thing, and has a petition and that kind of thing and such. So I'll post a link below. You know, can't hurt. you know, um, I suppose I would expect the movement to be moving better, than to think we're winning. We're in the dictionary anyway. It's not nearly good enough. I mean, fairness is in the dictionary for a long time, and we haven't figured out how to do that yet. Deserve, that's been in the dictionary a long time, and nobody has a clue what that means. Um, like it should be important somehow. Earn, well, fuck that word. Useless piece of shit. We elected presidents didn't earn a fucking thing in their life. Anyway, yeah, so lots of words in the dictionary and they just don't mean anything. So, yes, but still something worth something somewhere somehow. Uh, just lots of anyway. Um, ah. So let's see logistics. Otherwise, oh yeah. So I did talk to this Humpty Dumpty person, um, tribal person, of some kind, whatever. One of these, he's not like a survivalist, but he's got the feel of it, a little bit. Um, and down on civilization kind of thing, and humans are stinky, um, and so we agree on you know a quarter of the problem, so to speak. I mean, you could say, you know this argument about the role the human race has played in this circumstance is just kind of ironic because we've sort of backed into doing the right thing, like creating the nuclear bomb. Oh, good idea after all. Um, you know, Destroying the environment. Certain little thing, killing species. So it's all bad behavior that just will turn out in the end probably to be, oh yeah, that was the right thing to do because you had to make the place septic enough for the human race to actually vote for blowing it up. You have to make the neighborhood so bad that it finally gets bulldozed so it can be rebuilt, you see. Except we don't do the rebuilding part. We just do the bulldozer part and, pile a big pile of cement and cover the earth in, big square cement block of, and, yeah. That'd be pretty cool, actually, wouldn't it? If that's how we, gracefully exit, is just turn the earth into a giant tombstone, a giant cubic tombstone. We were here, got diarrhea and said, fuck you. Just fuck you, universe. You're stupid as fuck. Just write different things on the different sides of the cube. Fuck you. Uh, you know, Oh, that's such a great idea for the end of a movie. You're just panning away from the cube, and the little surfaces are flipping around, saying the different things. About the commentary on. Torture really isn't a great idea. Dumb fucking universe. So, anyway, so I talked to that guy, and that was my it's the technology was a little bit of a blah 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 because he does the phone thing, and I guess he has kind of a small internet, and so my microphone was semi iffy because I had to use the other computer and blah 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 blah, and who knows. So, I mean, I saved a copy, but it was not very good quality, So, but whatever. You get what you get. Um, so that's Tuesday. So he'll post it on Tuesday. So something to look forward to, whatever. I'll post a link when it's eventually available. That kind of thing. So hour long, blah blah. Why? Yeah, everything sucks fundamentally. All right, now, contrary to that everything sucks statement, the theme in my brain this week, just was I spent a lot of time in the dark, in the quiet, thinking, was back to sort of this idea that it is. I even said that in the interview. It's a head game, just this whole idea that our perception, the physical reality isn't what's in our brain. Our brain is completely functioning on non-physical reality. In a sense, it's everything's just a symbolic representation. Even though we're looking at it and we say, "Hey, that's a real thing." Well, not really in our head. It isn't, and we can manipulate the things in our head. So, this Sharpie, in reality, has to be a Sharpie, of course, but in my brain's representation of it, it can be, I don't know, butt plug. It can be, that's even being too literal. It can be, magic wand of fun. It can be lots of things. It doesn't have to be rigid to reality. Now, the downside of that is people invent, Sharpie is God, and, we're all fucked because they're imbeciles. As they turn figments of their imagination into real things. But the truth is we have this thing, an imagination, and we have this power to, the brain has the power to, that's not, we don't have it, brain has it. Programs can run that can, play with perception. And we can understand that psychologically, if I do a couple of mumbo jumbos, positive thinking, la 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 la, and you get to some point in your brain where you'll create a biological reaction that will, make you feel better. And then you might think better, and then you'll feel better, and then you'll think better, and this kind of bullshit. And I'm not making an argument for wasting your time trying to do that with your imagination. Beyond the fact of its medicinal value, it's like medical marijuana or something. It's okay if it's medicine. So, but the truth is we have this capacity to believe we're better than we are, it's okay. We can rationalize and we can fix, we can, tweak with our perception of reality to acquire a sense of accomplishment or satisfaction. And therefore, I would do it for the argument of becoming more efficient in your function. Taking out some of the drudgery. So, like, yes, you have to experience no electricity or something else. Your brain should be able to turn that into a non-negative event, by merely doing some comparison, saying, well, you could be living in a cave with polio. What are you complaining about? It can create a context. It can create, changes in perception that allow you to say, well, this is perfectly adequate, and you can even get somewhat interested in something that you didn't think was interesting. Twiddling of the thumbs or something can be, oh yes, that's a fascinating game to play, where, in regular context that might not seem like a competitive entertainment vehicle. So, and then you get into the whole imagining thing where you just spend time daydreaming or fantasizing, and that's a very powerful thing also. So that was another thing I just became re-aware of, just because I had to rely on it. That you can, like say you're tired but you're not sleepy, and so you just figure I'll rest, and you can just spend your time creating a scenario of some kind and living it out, and it's not that far from the truth. You could just convince yourself, hey, I'm making an actual memory. This is not a dream. You can just say to yourself, no, this isn't just bullshit. You can just say, yes, this really happened. And then see how your brain reacts to realizing, ooh, that really happened. That's part of who I am. And I've thought of that with animals. You wonder, because it's quite obvious, it seems, that cats and dogs do dream. And you wonder if they have the skill to know that somehow that didn't really happen. That dream crap wasn't real. Or whether they are actually traumatized in some sense, and they actually have experiential memories that they're building out of their dreams. I'm sure it affects us emotionally, as if it's a real memory, that our dreams do fuck with our subconscious programming and do impact it as real trauma. But we clearly can somehow take the edge off of it a bit by knowing, oh, it's just a dream. Phew, I don't have to worry about going to jail. But can animals do that? I think sort of an interesting question. I mean, in the context of all the interesting questions, it's probably not interesting, but it seems a little interesting. So, what else? Where am I really going with here? But yeah, it's just this maximizing efficiency thing and trying to get some sort of peace of mind, so you can go about the business of realizing the world sucks. So I guess that's where I was sort of going. Like, you see, this guy actually goes away. He goes to the mountains. He goes to some place to get away. And I guess the point I'm making is you don't really have to physically go away. You can do like an Al Bundy kind of vacation. If anybody's familiar, Al Bundy would vacation in his living room with a TV, and he just rope it off, so nobody could fuck with his fantasy that he was living a better life. And you can sort of do that. You can sort of make it happen, make it so, with your, the internal mechanism alone. You don't need to create the actual visual thing. There's just another irony. There's always something, your brain pops into your head, and just when I said that, I was thinking of like blind people who go golfing. And it's like the complete reversal, right? I was just thinking about, well, it's like if you're blind, you don't need to actually do this and do that because you can't see it anyway. What's the difference? But they fall into the same trap, because even blind people think, oh yeah, I have to go golfing. I have to do some silly traditional behavior thingy, even though I really can't get any clue of what's actually going on, or experience it in any way that's ever experienced by a person actually golfing. But you see, they fall into the same trap of thinking they need to do something silly for them to think they actually did something. I mean, you can do this stuff, like I said, the parts are already in your brain. Every part of a vacation in Jamaica or something. You already have all the little pieces in your head, and you can just make it happen with your own brain. You don't need to actually physically go there and smell it and hear it and blah blah blah. You can just play the video clips, muddle them together. So again, it's sort of like video editing. Like, there was a little bit of trouble when I was going to start this video. I still haven't made my Linux videos, because there's always little stuff that just I don't know. But anyway, it's been working. I mean, months now. I've been kind of I just never run Windows anymore. But anyway, I can seem to do most everything I need to. But the video editing thing's still going to be an issue. Because in the future I do want to do some better editing. But anyway, so I was, the camera wasn't loading at the right resolution. You know, this technical problem of some kind. It just couldn't. It just wouldn't. You know, function properly, and I had to fiddle with it to get it there. So, but that's the only problem with the imagination, right? Is that the certain resolution issues. The video quality isn't good enough, and so it's like movies. But I'd say there's a certain downside to that, right? Because when you really do go to places, you can't fix all the crap that sucks, like the bad smells, or the obnoxious people, or the ugly slums. All the stuff you wouldn't put in your fantasy that's in the reality. And it's sort of like that with movies now, right? Because it's all this high definition stuff. And, you can see all the defects in the person's face, and you see up their nose, and, there's all kinds of stuff I'm seeing. I don't want to see that shit. So, yeah, knock the resolution down a bit or something. Or can't you just do like a haze or something? Like still high resolution, but like photoshopped a little bit or something, just to take out some of the harsh little icky bits, because man, my neighbor has gigantic vision, and you just even watch the news and you're like, whoa, that is just way too in that man's face. I don't like it. It's just too homo for me. It's just I can see more of them than I can see of me in the mirror, kind of thing. It's like I don't want to see other people in higher resolution than I even see myself. So it's kind of, to me it's a negative. So it might be really good for spaceships flying around and doing shit. Maybe the high resolution is really cool for that. But the people part, give me the lower resolution people. So anyway, just an observation of my own. Because my eye does tend to, more details you put in there, then the more my eye goes looking for the details, and the more you realize, hey, I'm watching a movie because look, I'm looking at all the details. Oh, that, because they give somebody, like, say for example, they give somebody an injury or something, and now you can see it so well, you can see, oh, that's fake as fuck. And that just shows, and then you see from scene to scene something changes, and you're just like, well, that's fucked up, and eyebrows are going this way now, they were going that way before, or, so it's like you don't want too much detail. So anyway, tangent from the point, but that's sort of the subtle difficulty of the thing, is the idea of recognizing this power your brain has to just vacation you and keep you, in a sense, safe from harm. But it's so hard to make yourself believe it and to do it. So, like I said, I had a week to practice, and I just didn't perform the task of, whatever you want to call it, like juggling or something. I wasn't able to quite convince myself this was good enough. And even though my brain already knew, this should work, asshole. So, I have already built in some confidence in this process, and I still couldn't quite pull it off. And so that's the catch of it, is to, figure out how to really take advantage of the fact that I don't need comforts of most of them. Most of the aesthetic, superficial things of life, you really don't need the actual thing to have the actual thing. It's like if there was a diamond that was like the size of a basketball. You can pretty much imagine that, right? Possessing it would be kind of retarded, because you can pretty much just imagine, okay, it sparkles, facets, sides, oh yes, this lights reflect, oh yeah, I can do that. I really don't need it, right? What do I need to see it, actually have it sitting here for? I can get a good enough image, it's enough. I don't need to own one of those. And so you start doing that with your whole life, and you can start to figure out that, I don't need some of this shit. And I'm not just trying to make us, minimalist. I just mean that this is a vehicle to make life while you're in the trench. And you got the trench foot, fighting the war of surviving your life and trying to make the most out of it and get some productivity out of it, that you can make the work of being alive less difficult if you can keep your brain from realizing you're at work and from getting bogged down in thoughts of just how bad it is there, because it is a tricky business to be an advocate or to be aware, because it means the thoughts roll into your head. Right in the middle of your day, you'll start thinking about all the feral cats and how miserable they are, and they got all kinds of diseases or injuries or something, and nobody just gives them a nice little cuddle. And you start thinking all the kids growing up in poverty or some other thing, and it's just, oh man, that's just so depressing. And so you kind of need a way to recover from the fact that you're being somewhat aware of where you are, what planet you're on, and the context of your existence in a chain of events taking place in the universe, and that you may be the steamroller driver, that you may be kind of integral, or the maintenance man that keeps it going, or the guy who fills it up with water and makes it good and heavy, that you got a role to play in this event of universal evolution. And you're just not going to be able to do your job unless you can keep your head from making you crazy. But again, as soon as I say these words, I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm just saying I know it's there. I just know the pieces are there for my brain to be able to put them together in a way that can help maximize my function and keep me strong, so to speak. Strong enough, keep me from just collapsing into the mud and saying I can't do it anymore. I can't. So it can provide you enough synthetic food, artificial sweetener, whatever you want to call it. But regardless, it's enough comfort to get you from here to there. So that just popped into my head, a reminder that I did want to say something. There's, a few people who I have contact with here in the internet world of some kind, and I just haven't been communicative. I haven't been able to interact with anybody for a few weeks, so it's nothing personal. We'll try to be, a person that interacts. The spring's coming that might help, all this kind of stuff. I just been very it's not that people are a distraction, but yeah, they are. You're all a distraction. So I've been, it's not that I've been busy, it's just I have been tangled in just trying to unravel my own life stuff and get stuff, getting myself cleaned up a little, organized. There's lots of little subtle events around me, and it's just, I just can't, I just haven't been able to blend that into some sort of communication with other people that are just going to now put new thoughts in my head and mess up what little control I'm trying to exercise over the brain space or whatever. So I guess the two subjects are sort of related, because here I am working on the interior, and and you do have the problem that you just can't let the exterior own you while you're doing that. You can't clean your room, to use one of those Peterson things, um, from the war trench or from some other place. You have to actually be in your room to clean your room. And our lives are so full of all this other stuff, all the other interactors that are going on, that it's a lot of it's hard to find your room. It's hard to find, get to your space that isn't space occupied by all this other agendai, out there in the world. All this other stuff that's going to consume the value of your enterprise here on Earth. Just showing something different. YouTube, this is garbage. That's another. You just make YouTube complaints all day, but it's just so irritating. I find lately, I don't know. I did put ad block on one of my computers, and that might have something to do with it. It's in the sense of making the videos don't load, as reliably. But it's the comment sections. I typed a few comments on a couple of videos, and it's obnoxious getting to the comment section. I don't know why they don't give you a link to just the comment section. YouTube seems in so many ways retarded. It's like sometimes they seem to be forcing me to watch high definition videos when I just couldn't give a shit about high definition. I keep lowering the setting, they keep bouncing it back up. And you're saying, why are they doing that? They're just wasting their bandwidth. Why waste it? Forcing people to do something they don't want to do. And it seems like the whole concept of having a comment section and forcing all this other infrastructure of the page to load just to do the comments just seems so fucking stupid. It's stupid for them, but it's really stupid for the user because it just wastes so much time. You can just feel your life, slipping through your fingers, watching little things spin around, those stupid little spinny shitheads that don't tell you a motherfucking thing about whether they have any clue whether that, it's like the computer's spinning and it's saying, okay, I'm finding it, when it knows it ain't gonna find it. It's just lying. But really, it's 2018, this shit should work a little better than that. So, just an observation of mine. Lots of things should be working better than they are, and you have to endeavor to persevere. And one of the weapons in persevering is, don't let this thing hurt you. Oh, that's just so. Oh yeah, sure. No, I know there's no way you can't get depressed and can't get, but I'm just saying that there is a power there to fix some of your neediness and to get around the natural gameplay, the competitiveness and all the other ego crap and all the other kind of shit. There are tools to make it okay where you just don't have to be an asshole. Or smell like an actual asshole. Actually physically in the world be one. You can be one in your head instead. Take care of it in there. Oh, you like rape, for example, or something. Well, do the raping inside your own head. Don't be raping the real world, that kind of thing. It seems kind of obvious. If you have some compulsions and out of balance needs, attempt to satisfy them internally so you don't have to make a mess. That's probably a reasonable way to put it. So anyway, so I don't want this to be confused with some sort of whatever that shit is, that Tony Robbins kind of, whatever bullshit, empowerment nonsense of some kind, or some. It's not. I'm not selling a kind of meditation or anything, or a kind of practice. It's just a thought that came through my head this week, just in the sense of recognizing that the game is all really internal. I mean, that's really where the mechanism is. That's where your consciousness really lives, is in there. And you can put almost anything on the screen. You can stick things, right there in front of your perception. You can, brain can, if you've if you've turned on, or left the door open to those kind of programs, that kind of knowledge. The knowledge is the program, right? Once you know water's wet or something, then you can use its wetness, you can apply it in the world. So it's, you don't have to empower water. You just have to have knowledge that water has these properties. So once you have knowledge that your brain is programs, then you can just say, hey, do I have that program? And it'll say, yes, you do know that there are aspects of your function that you could just augment with a good fantasy, instead of wasting $10,000 on a silly boat trip or something. You really don't need to do that. You can just imagine it done, because you have a program that says that is possible. You have a piece of knowledge that says it's possible. So the knowledge is the program. The knowledge of what this does makes it possible for it to do, for you to use it. And if you didn't know what it was or how it does it, then you don't have access to the program. So it's like some primitive tribe. I could hand this to a guy and he wouldn't know what this is for. He'd have to play with it to figure out what knowledge. He'd have to gain knowledge of it. In the same way, we have to play with our life, in terms of recognizing that there's lots of facts around us here, and and that those facts add up to a certain circumstance. That here we are, this biological organism, we survived this incredibly unlikelihood of our existence in the first place. We're human beings have been here for a microsecond in the history of all the crap that's going on Earth, and the whole real machine, the whole evolution machine really just wants to make crocodiles and tyrannosauruses. It doesn't really want to make these kind of things. It's not the usual function. And that we're just incredibly convoluted in weird bugs. Bugs like that. There's little bugs that, when they're larvae, right? This is just when they're larvae in the stream, not before they go out and fly and do all kinds of fun stuff. But just as larvae, they sit there and collect rocks and glue them onto themselves. And, they're all quite complicated. But it's just antics, and that's all humans are. We're just full of a bag of little antics, little programs that run. And having knowledge that we are just this programmed piece of shit, and that the only thing that's really interesting about us is that we do have this intelligence, that is all this knowledge of Sharpies and devices and batteries and nicotine and this and that. We have all these understanding of all this stuff, and we can put all those little things together into little bombs, into little machines, into little things that'll do stuff. And that's our role to play here, is to maximize our capacity to make, to constructively assemble Earth, and our civilization into something productive and good, instead of something idiotic that's, bowing to, figments of their imagination. So just really, that kind of thing. So I guess to finish up, it was funny, that this stuff was going on in my head for a few days, thinking about this subject of it's all a head game. And I had the weirdest dream, it had Thunderfoot and Karina was in it, and a few other YouTuber thingies. And it was this weird cable across the ocean that we were walking across, and it's all kind of some kind of dopey thunderfoot idea, and I'm saying, why am why am I invested in this dumb project? That guy's crazy, stupid. And it was and then eventually we're back on ground, and we're all going to walk to Romania from like New Jersey. Like, you can't do that. And there was a crazy people were living in the woods, and it was just. But I'm just saying, my thought was, gee, I could have had some kind of, you could have just made this dream, just rewritten it into so much better story. I mean, it was just it wasn't a bad dream, like, oh, horrible, horrible. But it was just a nuisance one. Like, it all seemed to be a lot of work and distractions that weren't allowing for any fun time. It was just all kind of, crap time. And I'm just saying, all the pieces were there. I mean, the woods and the ocean was kind of neat, and even the cable idea of walking across a cable across the ocean was kind of interesting and visual. So there was lots of stuff in that dream that was useful. It's just that it was arranged in such a poor manner that you couldn't have any fun. So, but that's the difference. It's just this subtle difference between a being able to maximize this imagination function and having it do exactly the opposite, gaining the most efficiency out of it and just having it be like a disease that destroys you. So like religion and just completely self-serving delusional daydreams of heavens or something, all that crap is just such a negative use. And we can put it to this very positive use of imagining ourselves driving the steamroller, so pouring the square earth cement, some good project, and keeping ourselves capable of creating a narrative for our life that makes us realize that we're part of the universe. We're here, we have faculties and capacities, and somehow we should be able to synthesize them into a thing called productive, good. Just, we should be able to make ourselves into good. Let's say we make ourselves. Brain, knowledge, understanding, and the capacity to project it as a visualization should be able to make us, maximize us. And I'd argue that just knowledge that the power exists, knowledge that the pieces are all inside your brain right now, and it's just, the idea that they just need to be more reasonably organized to make you better at being, a better player in your lot of life circumstance. Now, that's probably enough. So anyway, hopefully I get back to my normal, which probably wasn't a great place for me to be, but it's hard not to, it's hard not to become dependent. Dependency. That's another word you could go on and on again. There's a lot of people like this guy I was talking to, Huckleberry Hound or whatever he was. He sort of has a reverence or an appreciation for this whole drug culture thing of, you take the psychedelics and you find the truth and all that kind of mumbo jumbo. And I think that's just such a pile of crap. But that most of the time, 99 for every one person who's improved by their drug experience, 99 people are not improved. They are not empowered. They are not made anything but dumb, and then dumber, and then dumbest, and the brain just slides into dude. Fuck. No, not good. So, yes, go ahead, masturbate. Just don't make it a lifestyle, for fuck's sake. Anyway, I mean, don't pretend it's this, the spiritual center of your being. Well, maybe that's sort of true for masturbation. I probably shouldn't insult it by comparing it to drugs. I'm just saying this dependency thing is a little tricky, so be careful. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's enough of the video. I can hit the button now. Pretty sure. So anyway, yes, I'm just going to try to get back to normal, and then when I'm normal, I'll be talking about how, oh yeah, I'm going to do all this stuff much better. I'll be making those promises again that, I'm going to make the greatest video ever. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe. Anyway, oh yeah. Okay, anyway. Till next time.